All right, let's finish with this one. All right, so let's check this one out.
Gold diggers are facing a credit crash. In Shanghai, luxury afternoon tea deals have turned into group buys with steep discounts. And luxury goods resellers are quietly offering secondhand items at discounted prices. A surreal reality is unfolding. What was once hailed as the strongest business model of the 21st century, the gold digger economy is now facing a massive collapse. Gold digger, or
Do you do Laughing Man? Do you do what you call it? What is it? Smelting, right? Is it smelting? Is it like you boil down you, you um you what was it called bowling? You melt down rare earth metals like gold and silver. Whoa, I watched that shit. There's a creator that I watch. Really cool. I really like his stuff. So I watch it often. I think that's a good niche, right? Bro, if you do it, I think that's yo, I'll support that, right? I like that shit, right? Where there's the creator I watch where he just I don't know, goes to find any kind of parts, spare parts, if you find copper or gold or silver or I don't know, any kind of precious metal, right? He melts it down and pours it into like pre-made whatchamacallit, pre-made shapes already, right? They're already pre-made shapes like booleans and stuff. So yeah, try Morgan dollars minted in. Okay, it's like I do want to collect gold or gold coins and stuff, but they're expensive.
Daonu, as it's called in mainland China, is a term used for women who abandon their dignity and use their
That's the thing. I love my chat because sometimes I can't think of something. My chat is there for me. This is what it's like, you know. I'm thinking.
bodies and souls to get money. The term originated in Guangdong, where local people referred to outsiders trying to make a living in Guangdong as Lao Song, or brothers in Mandarin. It later evolved into referring to women from other provinces who spoke Mandarin and were seen as vain, wanting to take advantage of others for financial gain.
The gold digger scene has changed. It's not the same as it was a few years ago. It's now more covert and hard to spot. If you get involved, it can end very badly.
The host explains that 3 years ago, the approach was mostly about keeping you hanging, making you imagine things, and getting you to spend money. Now, guys are harder to deceive. They've been tricked before and learned to avoid it. Today's gold diggers have upgraded their tactics. They'll let you taste a little sweetness, or even put in some effort themselves to make you feel like it's genuine. But it's the same as before, with no real difference once you're in a committed relationship. Once the relationship is established, they'll fall back on the old tricks, looking for reasons to argue, coldly ignoring you without reason. If you don't give something, and if you don't make it up to her, you're in big trouble. It used to be that they'd get rid of you quickly. Now they invite you in, trap you, and then make things worse. They might even accuse you of something serious, like assault. These covert gold diggers are becoming more and more common. You might think you found true love, falling hard for someone, but you end up in a scam. In reality, it's hard for men to stay clear-headed, especially when they're infatuated. A first-generation entrepreneur shared his own story of being scammed.
I was scammed by a gold digger out of over $1 million. Did you know that? You might not believe it, thinking it's impossible for someone like me, a first-generation entrepreneur earning millions a year. But I'm telling you, the final evaluation I gave her was a top-tier gold digger who ruined my view of love.
The man explains that last year he was sent on social media by a very pure and beautiful female college student. She reminded him of his first love from university, and he was immediately attracted. But because the man
I'll say this, right? My opinion with gold diggers, I don't hate on people. I don't hate on women that can extract money from you, right? I've always believed this where I'm a big advocate for accountability. So let's say this, because these men were fooled by looks, right? By how attractive this woman is. Well, these men gave money to these women. Well, you're only to blame. No one forced you to give money to these women. You were simping on these women. So at the end of the day, it's about accountability. It's about self-respect. It's about boundaries. And I've said this before where we as men, our biggest weakness is women and our lust. That is our biggest weakness. If we as men can control that, we are fucking dangerous. If men can control their biggest weakness, women and their lust, we as men will be dangerous. No one will be able to manipulate us. No one will be able to control us. We will then be leaders of our lives.
wasn't lacking in women, they lost contact. One night, it was pouring rain, and the girl called him, crying and asking him to come pick her up. Soft-hearted, he drove over 100 kilometers to get her. The next day, he took her shopping for clothes and then dropped her back at school. A few days later, the girl
I don't mind. Plug it. It's okay. I don't mind to check it out. right? You know, this is a thing where I support men hustling, men you know, getting their shit up, right? I'm trying to, make something of themselves. I'm a big supporter of that. Slabbing costs about 20, 30. Yeah. It's just it's not easy to find the right you know, uh coin and stuff. So I've been trying to do I have one? I don't have one.
Paid him back for the clothes. He thought she was a good girl, smart, and appreciative.
No, Lenny, I don't really game. I don't gaming is not my a really hobby of mine. So no, I don't really game that much. I maybe once in a blue moon, right? I've played some shooter games, right? Call of Duty sometimes in the past. I played Fortnite a bit, but I'm not I'm not that big of a gamer. Plus, it's like it's hard. I don't have that much excess time to do that kind of hobby, even if it's a cool hobby.
After 3 months, they were almost in a relationship. On a trip to the countryside, when booking a room, the girl didn't refuse to share a room. At first, everything seemed fine, but soon her behavior became more suggestive. At that point, the man was no longer thinking clearly. By then, a call came in from a friend asking how he was doing. The friend warned him to be careful and said he knew a billionaire who got scammed by a female college student for millions. The man decided to stop and didn't sleep with the girl. However, the next day, things took a turn. The girl told him, "You've already been with me. If we don't confirm the relationship, I'll expose everything." The man said, in the end, he was tricked out of over $1 million. At the time, he still had plenty of money and didn't think much of the amount, but when he met up with his friends and started talking, he realized many of them had similar experiences. He found out that there was an entire organization behind these women. The boss would infiltrate various companies, do background checks on young bosses. If the boss had a soft spot for beautiful women, they'd reel them in slowly, spending months building trust, fastening them up before making their move. They had a whole standard operating procedure for training top-tier gold diggers. One typical example of a gold digger is Zhai Xingxing. Zhai was the ex-wife of Su Xiangmao, the founder of WePhone. In March 2017, Zhai met Su Xiangmao through a dating website, and they married in June.
You know what? Like, I'm not a big sports collector, but I was happy that I got this one right here. Right? Because this is like Otani, right? When he was like going through his run recently, I think it was last year or a year before that. He was going through his run. I really wanted to get this, right? I really wanted to get this, and I thought it was cool. It's a 9. I thought it was cool, right? I really wanted to get this, so I do love collecting. I do love collecting. That's why I try. I'm iffy with doing the money thing because man, I have a addictive personality, right? I have addictive personality. I will keep on buying, and I don't know. It's kind of dangerous, right? That's why I had to stop all this shit. I had to really stop myself. I had to stop myself from buying. So I don't know. It might not be a healthy thing for me.
In July 2017, they divorced. 1 month later, on the night of September 7th, 2017, Su Xiangmao ended his life in a hotel in Beijing. In his note, Su wrote that during their divorce, Zhai demanded 10 million yuan and a property in Hainan, threatening to report his company for tax evasion, which led to his financial collapse. In March 2023, a Beijing court ruled that Zhai must return nearly 10 million yuan to Su's family, deeming her coercion during the divorce a key factor in his death. In June 2023, Zhai was arrested on charges of extortion. The trial began on January 1st, 2025. Zhai admitted guilt, expressed regret, and apologized to Su's family, but they refused to accept her apology. The prosecution charged her with extorting a particularly large sum, 11.99 million yuan, successfully obtaining 8.59 million and attempting to extort another 3.
Yeah, this is disgusting. It really is. This is why I said, right? I've said this before. Men's biggest weakness is women and their lust and our lust. That is our biggest weakness. Seriously. We are destroying ourselves because we are so weak to women. I've said this. If we can control that, we are dangerous. If women, because our only weakness, in my opinion, is women. That is it. Our lust, women, that is our only weakness. If we can control that, I think men will be, man, it would be dangerous.
4 million. Before marrying Su Xiangmao, Zai Xingxing had already gone through 2 marriages, both of which were flash marriages and flash divorces. On January 17, 2011, Zai married a university classmate who came from a well-off family. However, by April 1st of the same year, they divorced, with the man paying her 200,000 yuan as settlement. After 2012, Zai moved her household registration to Beijing and entered her second marriage with a man named Li Tiejun. This marriage, too, ended in a flash divorce. Third husband was Su Xiangmao, born in 1981 in a mountainous area of Fujian. After earning a master's degree from Beijing University of Posts and Communications, Su became a programmer and later started his own tech company, developing a mobile app for sending text messages and making phone calls. After just 2 weeks of knowing Zai, Su gifted her a car worth nearly 1 million yuan. In addition,
2 weeks. This thing for fucking men are simp. This is shit like this, right? This is why men's content is so important. Shit like this is why men's content is so important. Remember what we just said with that woman with that says male friends? This is the thing. Men don't wake up until it's too late. Men won't wake up to it until it's too late. We will simp. We will go overboard. We will think we're nice. We think we're gentlemen. We think and then she will fuck up your life. And then what? Right? No care. Right? That's the shit. That's the shit. Why men's content is so important. To wake up men from this bullshit.
he gave her bags worth tens of thousands of yuan, diamond rings worth hundreds of thousands, and a 3.2 million yuan house in Hainan, with both their names on the title. Zai Xingxing's pattern of flash marriages, quick divorces, and money-grabbing behavior is typical of gold diggers. These women don't marry for the purpose of creating a stable family, but for money. Before marriage,
that's the thing. I'm telling you, right? If men can control their lust and their desire for women, men will be so disciplined. More men will accomplish more shit, right? More men will accomplish more shit, and less men will be destroyed. Yes, I mean, like, I get it. Men suffer alone for a very long time. I get it, but it's like, you know what? If we can control ourselves, control our weakness, we will achieve better. We will achieve essentially greatness. And once you become a better man, right, the best man you can, you will understand no one can manipulate you. No one can control you. No one can fool you, right? Where you are the leader of your own life. So if you go, you can see the manipulators, right? You choose a woman. You have boundaries. No woman's going to cross your boundary. You're not going to give her a car 2 weeks into knowing her.
they keep men hanging, getting them to buy expensive gifts. Shortly after marriage, they divorce, aiming to take the property. Apart from Zai Xingxing's case, many people on social media have shared their own encounters with gold diggers. One man said, "I don't even dare to chat with women now. While chatting, suddenly she gets hungry, her phone breaks, she runs out of credit, she has no clothes to wear, no perfume, no foundation, no makeup, no sunscreen, and her birthday's coming up. It's like I'm guilty, chatting her into poverty." I once went on a blind date. On our first shopping trip, she said she wanted a new phone. We visited every phone store in town. I told her I can sponsor 2,000 yuan, but that was all I had. After that, she got upset and said she didn't want to shop anymore and wanted to go home. The next day, the matchmaker called, saying I was being stingy or something. It really pissed me off. Another man said, once, a girl I met through a friend wanted to go shopping for clothes. The first thing she picked out was a jacket that cost 7,000 to 8,000 yuan. One outfit nearly cost 20,000 yuan. She asked me if she looked...
Halsey, thank you for stopping by. Yes. Can't shift that focus, right? That's why we have to really push ourselves. It's not easy. I agree. It's not easy. I mean, I had that problem like for years, right? Most of my adult life, only until, the last couple years where I had better focus.
Good in it, and I said she did, but she hesitated for a long time, just staring at me. I lowered my head and played with my phone.
Exactly. Waste of resources. I agree.
Later, I just went out to make a phone call. She didn't buy anything and never contacted me again. Another man recalled, a long time ago, I met a girl, and to show my generosity, I bought her a piece of clothing. We had dinner together, then went for a massage. The second time we met, she mentioned wanting an Hermes belt. I told her buying clothes for her was like feeding stray dogs and told her to get lost.
现在有很多男人啊，他们都开始防着女人了。
Nowadays, many men are starting to be wary of women because they're all gold diggers. On top of the Da Tong incident, even if the woman seems like a good person, men will still be cautious and not give her too much power. These gold diggers have ruined the market, making it so that men no longer trust women. The relationship between men and women has become worse, and they've even made it so that good women don't have much of a market anymore. She referred to the Datong incident in Shanxi, where a couple, Xi and Wu, got engaged and then had relations after the engagement. Later, the woman changed her mind and reported that she was raped. The man presented evidence of the dowry and the engagement agreement, claiming the act was consensual. However, the court convicted him of rape and he appealed.
What the hell? Serious? I've said this, right? Men are not just like the shit men are doing, like in the in America, isn't out of nowhere. Men aren't doing shit out of nowhere. Men seen it, right? Men experience this shit. This is why shit is like. This is why dating is so different, because women have destroyed it. Women have changed how the dating market is.
In April of this year, the case went to trial, and the Shanxi Datong Intermediate Court upheld the original ruling, sentencing Xi to 3 years in prison for sexual assault. However, the man still insisted that no actual sexual relations had occurred. The Datong case caused a huge stir. Men are now worried that marriage could lead to similar accusations. Coupled with China's rapidly deteriorating economic environment and less money in their pockets, more men are choosing not to marry. Data from the first quarter of 2025 shows that 1.81 million couples registered for marriage in China, a decrease of 159,000 compared to the previous year. Meanwhile, the number of divorces has increased by 57,000. As Chinese men wake up to the situation,
The poison of feminism. The poison of feminism. Again, it's a mirror image to America. That's why it proves the results, right? The consequences of feminism.
and the economy worsens, gold diggers have completely lost their market, causing a collapse. For example, the number of women applying for consumer loans has skyrocketed, overdue loan rates have surged, and these women, once seen as goddesses, are now defaulters. Some say this is the realization of modern men facing the survival rules of a consumerist battlefield. They're beginning to vote with their feet and counter the economic model. In the past, men would empty their wallets to make their loved ones smile, take out online loans for simple I love you, buy lipstick, fight for limited edition bags, book 5-star hotels, and arrange candlelit dinners, providing both material and emotional value. Now the pendulum has swung in the opposite direction. Lipstick is sitting unsold, flowers are wilting on the stands, the diamond myth is shattered, and luxury goods sales have sharply decreased. But gold diggers are still addicted to consumerism, needing luxury bags, brand name shoes, expensive skincare, and regular cosmetic procedures. As a result, they're spending more and more money, accumulating more and more debt, while growing increasingly dependent on men. Little do they know, men are rebelling against one-sided giving, and a quiet revolution is unfolding. This change is causing major losses across 6 industries. Analysts say that the luxury goods sector is the hardest hit. According to a report by Bain Capital, a well-known investment firm, in 2024, the sales of luxury goods in mainland China dropped by 18 to 20%. Gold diggers who can't find work are now relying on selling luxury items to get by. Over the past decade, China's second-hand luxury goods market has grown 7 times. The main sellers are gold diggers, and the buyers are mostly young people. Next, various industries that focus on packaging and ritualistic experiences have collapsed. A typical day for a gold digger involves waking up in the afternoon, putting on makeup, having afternoon tea, and taking photos in a stylish cafe to post on social media. Then she meets a man or shares fishing tips with her friends. However, since 2023, high-end restaurants in cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen have been closing down. Those that survived saw their revenue drop by 60%. High-end milk tea brands are struggling to stay afloat. The third industry affected is personal consumer loans. Men no longer borrow money to impress women, and these women, unable to pay their debts, have become defaulters. Last year, all 6 major state-owned banks saw an increase in non-performing loans in the personal consumer loan sector. On one hand, they couldn't recover the money they lent, and on the other, they couldn't lend out new money. By early 2025, some banks reduced the interest rates on consumer loans to below 3%, and in some cases, as low as 2%.
This is why I said where men are just sitting back and watching the world that women have now created burn down. Right? The collapse of things, the decline of things, whatever. Men are sitting back and watching the world women have created burn down.
2.5%. Of course, the overall economic downturn is a contributing factor, with everyone tightening their belts, but the collapse of the
Really? I didn't know that. It's I didn't know alcoholic, like women consuming alcohol at an alarming rate like that. I didn't know that. Interesting.
gold digger economy and the marriage and dating economy has played a significant role as well. The fourth industry to suffer is the debutante training programs. Women looking for rich husbands were spending anywhere from a few thousand to tens of thousands of yuan on these programs. These programs taught them how to manipulate men. But as the gold digger economy collapsed, many women realized the training wasn't helpful, so they started asking for refunds or even reported the instructors for fraud, leading to a number of training institutions collapsing. In April of this year, the former gold-digging queen and popular relationship coach Xu Xu Da Nuren, who earned 150 million yuan a year and had millions of followers, was reported to have evaded 7.6 million yuan in taxes and had her business shut down overnight. Not only did the training programs collapse, but
Whiskey, my super ego controls my lust. amazing. So I don't act. I love that. I have also been lusted after. I never understood why, but it was the reason for being semi-pro in Key West. Interesting. Again, I commend anyone who can control themselves, who has discipline.
Self-media platforms that promoted the elite woman lifestyle also went out of business. The fifth
Really?
industry affected is the medical aesthetics industry. In the past, many women received cosmetic treatments funded by their boyfriends, and the industry grew rapidly. However, this year, there has been an unusual downturn. The three companies known as the Three Musketeers of the medical aesthetics industry have all seen revenue declines. The Huaxi Biotech's revenue dropped by 20.77% in the first quarter, losing over 1 billion yuan. Aimeke dropped by 17.9%, and Haohai Biotech decreased by 4.5%. Finally, the online dating platforms are also in trouble. These platforms used to be popular with men, but men have started realizing that many of the women on these sites are gold diggers. What seemed like dates for love were actually just schemes to get meals and gifts. The top two dating apps in China have seen their performance decline for 5 consecutive years. Men's money is now being spent on outdoor gear, fishing, and sports. When relationships
You hear that? Men's money are now outdoor gears, fishing, and sports. Men are now spending their money on their fucking selves. Right? That's the shit I'm trying to promote. Care about yourself, self-respect, self-love. Because this is the thing. At the end of the day, if you don't care for yourself, no one will. I'm a big supporter of that. A mirror image to the US. Men are waking up. Men are tired of this shit.
are based on money, men end up being taken advantage of. Chinese men are officially saying goodbye to the simp mentality, and as a result, the situation for gold diggers will naturally get worse. If society as a whole returns to traditional morals, with both men and women being less materialistic and cherishing their connections, perhaps this would be the way forward for relationships in China.
Us as men do hope that it could go back to how it used to be, right? Where love was important, but I'm doubting it. I'm definitely doubting it. I don't think it will go back. What do you guys think?